I think also, correct me if I'm wrong, Jinx is 100% win rate so far tonight. Munchables, so for following trends, not necessarily the biggest fan of the Aphelios handshake here, because Jinx, the most impactful pick so far of today, goes over to the hands of BLG.
Yeah. One thing I'll mention as well, I kind of wanted to talk about this if the situation came up, but I'll just mention it as an interesting fact. For Doggo, both Aphelios and Jinx have a 75% win rate with 8 games played on each of them across the course of this split. When not on those two champions, though, the win rate plummets dramatically. It feels like BLG are really reliant on having one of these two hyper-scaling AD carries available for them. But over on the side of JDG, they are going to have that Viktor in their pocket. Yagao going with what worked in the past and kind of sticking to the draft from game number 1 so far. And WeiWei says, look, if you guys are going to do that, well, we'll just do the same thing again too.
And talking about WeiWei, right? As this draft starts to play out, and if something interesting comes up, we'll address it. But
yeah,
I think he was the member of BLG that people looked at and thought, okay, he's probably the least super on this super team. But I think he's quietly been having a bit of a moment this split. I think last series or last game he did pretty well. He did very well. I recall in some games he's been willing to bring out a lot of different picks, the Poppy into some all-in comps. Just been very impressed with him so far this season relative to my expectations going in, and I feel like he's a key member in seeing BLG get a lot of these leads.
I mean, he was one of the first players to bring out the Hecarim as well. I remember him getting an MVP on Hecarim, and it was like, wow, Hecarim pick, that's so wacky. And like, you know, a couple of weeks later, it's now incredibly meta. But at the time, it was pretty much a fringe pick. It was one of the picks that nobody was going for. So I definitely agree that WeiWei has been having an impact and, you know, being willing to bring out things like the Talon as well, which we're not seeing very much Talon across the LPL right now. So exciting stuff to see. But the cannon being banned away here, away from 369. That has been comfortably his best top laner of the split. So I like the decision there from BLG. JDG trying to get rid of some of these engaged supports from Chris.
Yeah, I think when you have a very strong support, Rakan just does so much, right? It allows you to get vision very aggressively because you have so many tools for disengaging or getting out of situations. It creates so much space in team fights, and also dropping the Tahm Kench, which is going to be a good protection. I think they're setting up to pick a Thresh on 4 or force BLG to ban it.
Have to see what the ban is going to be on that top side. Sion actually taking off board, trying to remove some of the safety from the top lane if 369 feels like he'll be playing weak side, but JDG should be able to get counter pick up there if they just want to go for their support now.
I've said they might hover the Leona, which I don't mind whatsoever, because Leona was very impactful last game. When Tahm Kench is off the table, it feels like Leona can basically just all in a lot of different scenarios. They've also taken the Aphelios, the Viktor, which are 2 picks that are very difficult for Leona to commit to as well. So this is a situation where, okay, maybe we're a bit scared of the Orianna Shockwave or something along those lines. But if Leona is running at an immobile Jinx, an immobile Leona with the Solar Flare, then that's a good way to close that gap overall.
Here's Crisp with the Nautilus, and now Breathe going to go with the Gnar. It has been one of the safer line picks available. Irelia is available for 369 if you wanted to give Breathe a bit of that treatment back.
Yeah, that's always a throwback. But again, a little bit scary, the Nautilus in this situation potentially. But ooh, I would really like to see the Gauntlet thrown here on the Lucian. That would be a very fun matchup. Generally speaking, any type of range matchup or aggressive pick like this, and he does lock it in, you can set up a dive on the Gnar. Gnar doesn't have a lot of tools for clearing out the wave when it crashes into him, so this forces the junglers to kind of have very awkward pathing sometimes, because you either path up and try to protect your top laner from dives, and that makes you vulnerable to invade on top lane prio, or you path down and hope for the best, right? So definitely some situations there. There is a brief window where Gnar can fight back. Once he hits level 2, if he's able to touch the wave, he's about to get mega on that second wave that comes in. so he can fight back on that window and should use his combos to clear the waves. That's the one tool that he has available, but otherwise he's getting dove, right? It denied a big amount of XP and gold.
Yeah, and I just love that we are consistently seeing 369 sticking to these ranged top laners. Like, he is just not interested in playing tanks. He's not interested in playing melee. Like, Kennen comfortably is most played. Then you've got Jayce, which most of the time a ranged top laner, right? Gragas, which is arguably pseudo-ranged, like a lot of his damage is ranged. Like, absolutely adoring these kinds of picks. And that is the vast majority of his games already covered in just those 3 picks. So now bringing out a Lucian in a good matchup for that Lucian as well. We'll see how he's going to do. Because, you know, solo lane Lucian was nerfed a while ago. Like, this is not the same strength of Lucian solo lane that we saw last year.
Yeah, but it does kind of make me feel a bit like, okay, this is the spirit of Zhao, who's now swapped back to mid, playing some of these ranged tops, but this is the type of play that LPL teams in a region, when someone is the best, you kind of study them. You try to figure out what makes those plays work, and range versus melee top lane picks are just very easy to control the wave generally, like walk, pass, do a lot of damage, so you can really time these types of set top lane plays, and I think that that's what JDG is really trying to execute to give them an edge.
Yeah, I'm trying to give 369 that advantage, especially after last game, right, where BLG did play towards that top side, played towards Breathe, and 369 really didn't stand a chance in the 2v1. It's like this time around, JDG, instead of changing their strategy, they've just doubled down even harder, right? They've gone, okay, we'll give you the counter pick. Kanavi very likely to make his way up towards that top side early on. And we'll see if Breathe can actually outlast that one, and whether WeiWei gets involved on the top side once again. But this time, BLG, plenty of scaling on their side, right? FoFo going back to what's very comfortable for him with this Orianna. Doggo on the Jinx once again. Feels like if nothing happens in the early game, BLG will be perfectly okay with that.
And they had the 5-man to go top. And I think part of that is, if you notice, 369 still has the trinket in his inventory. So that was dropped instead by his jungle, or his support didn't quite see on the level 1. So now he can save his trinket for the lane brush, right? And that's really, really important. So that means that he can get brush control, really threaten the Gnar, and make it impossible for the Gnar to basically get any sort of respite from his harass.
Yeah, and already straight off of the bat, like, Breathe tried to come in from the river, but it was warded, as you say. It wasn't even 369's ward, who now gets a massive chunk out of Breathe as well. Completely zoned, still 0 CS against 6 at this point, and 369. I mean, he's having a whale of a time, isn't he? He is loving every second of this game. A bit of revenge for what happened in game number 1.
Yep, and we'll see if it continues to work out for them. But it looks like what is going to happen is WeiWei has paths top to try to prevent a dive scenario, and Kanavi didn't try to invade off of clear, or off of the wave crash. So he also, I like that he skipped the wolves, because it's a little bit harder for Kanavi to invade those. He's just prioritizing his camps closest to the top lane. But this does mean that he's not necessarily going to be in position to protect Breathe in this case. Oh, here we are. Here's the potential
Just going to start chasing down WeiWei here. Breathe level 2, flash available. This is a bit greedy for JDG if they were to commit to this one. It would be dangerous in the 2v2.
Yep.
Looks like they are going to back away in the end, but 369 does get to crash this wave, does get to put pressure onto Breathe. Breathe not Mega Gnar, so no significant threat able to be thrown back towards 369.
I also want to point out, look at Breeze's inventory. He started with Klosh and Pots, right? So it will take a while.
That's old school. I've not seen that in a lot of years. That used to be the old Garen starters. WeiWei and Kanavi just duking it out. Yagao and FoFo do the exact same thing. Stun coming on through, but won't be even targeted at FoFo. Kanavi realizing this isn't a fight that they can keep on going for, and will eventually back away. But it's been a tense top side so far, Kelsey. I feel like we haven't had any kills, but there's been a lot of pressure, a lot of presence, and now WeiWei wants to keep that going. Breathe close to turning Mega as well, but 369 knows what's up. WeiWei, I think, should have seen that ward dying underneath him, but could have been looking elsewhere on the map at the time. Either way, he's going to have to back off.
Yep. And it is worth noting, he went cloth with pot start, right? But this means he is now running out of pots. So he will turn Mega and be able to use the spells to clear this way, so no threat. But he has to be still a little scared to think maybe Kanavi is actually just around every corner. So yeah, he's making sure he wears that, feeling nervous.
I'd be feeling nervous if I was him too, honestly. As you say, out of pots, doesn't have the regen from Adoran's shield. And 369, honestly, the way he's been playing in this lane so far, it wouldn't surprise me if he went aggressive without Kanavi there. Kanavi now sweeping his way into this jungle. But we'll just be clearing some vision and looking for a Gromp. I don't think this is diveable anymore.
Yeah, and he did have the Mega just as the wave crashed, which allowed him to clear it and nullify a lot of that dive potential. But a tense few moments for the Gnar there.
Yeah.
Has completed his steel-toed boots. Is that how we call them? Plated steel caps. There we go.
I mean,
Okay.
they are steel-toe boots. You're not wrong. It's just not the name. That's all. I still call them ninja tabbies a lot of the time, honestly.
Yeah, same.
Give me back
most
my
of the
dodge
time.
boots.
Yep. So now that he's got those, he's able to survive a little bit more of the harassment 369, but notably down like 20 CS. Okay.
Oh, the shot on the top side. Breathe. Just cannot get a second in this top lane. He's going to have to recall. No TP available. And that's a huge chance now for 369 to crash a big old wave under that tower, deny a ton of CS, and has exploded the lead in this top lane. Already up almost 20 CS at this point in the game. And it's only getting worse for Breathe. Like, this is brutal. This is absolutely brutal.
Yep. So we've mostly just been watching like top lane 1v1 simulator, right, during the course of this game. But let's talk about practically what this lead is going to secure for JDG. Right? It's going to secure, generally speaking, big side lane advantage. They should win both sides, Viktor and Lucian. This is the type of gameplay that they like. This is the type of gameplay that they'll want to be able to execute. And this will allow them to get priority on neutrals before BLG can, and we'll see if they can carry through on this lead and turn that into meaningful advantages that let them win the game.
I love how the entire game we've just been looking at top lane, right? We've got the
Yeah,
scaling
pretty
AD carries in the bottom lane. We got the control mages in the mid lane. It's like nothing is happening in either of those. The CS almost exactly even there. As I say that though, FoFo goes for Shockwave. WeiWei moving in. Gravity Field is there as the stun. Just going to be cancelled by Kanavi. He's there to protect them from the play. And we return to the status quo of nothing happening in the mid lane and the bottom lane.
Yeah, and like I said, this is pretty much what every top laner thinks League of Legends is. You know, just everyone paying attention to top lane. The rest of the lanes don't exist.
JDG making a play the bottom side here. Hope stepping on up, grabbing some onto Crisp. It's not the ideal target, but they're going to flash out anyway. And now Doggo walking back into the fray here. We'll get stunned up by missing. Feet throws up a little bit there. It's going to be another flash out from the BLG bottom lane. Missing. Doing a lot of work in this trade.
Yeah, but as this is happening, JDG looking for an invade on the top side as Rift Herald is spawned. So this bot side play will actually keep BLG from rotating to this. So since JDG are so far ahead on the top, if they wanted to take the Rift Herald, they could. Here.
Oh, they're going to go for a dive in the bottom lane, though. Chris managing to stop Hope in his tracks for now, but the Moonlight Vigil Doggo falls. Can they get the second one? The tower shot gets him, but it does not matter. Hope with a double kill under the tower.
Yeah, I think the big thing there is that they hit level 6 with the enemy bot lane being as low as they were.
Oh my god. WeiWei just getting
gosh.
bodied by 369. That was 2v1, and 369 has no fear in his heart whatsoever. 369 has not had the greatest split of his career, but he is making up for all of it in this game.
Oh, absolutely. I think the last few series we've seen 369 in, he's looked very strong. He's created a lot of pressure for JDG, and the jungle comes to his lane. Kanavi consistently coming to his lane because he knows that these games will pay off, right? He knows that there will be a lot to be gained from that. And showing here, but I think what's really crucial and important is I was talking about the impact of JDG looking for bot lane and making sure they can't rotate to Rift Herald, but capitalizing, knowing their damage, and taking them out as well. So just things going very well for JDG in a short amount of time. Going to grab that Rift Herald and continue the snowball and drag it to mid lane as well.
I just think, like, when's the last time you thought about JD Gaming and thought, yeah, this is a team that just wins through lane diff, you know? That has never been a sentence that people have said. JDG today, showing up, almost a 2,000 gold lead at this point, and both sides of the map just straight up lane diffing their opponent.
And the adaptation too, right? I think you see BLG having the advantage in the first game of knowing what JDG are going to come to the table with. And coming into this one, I think maybe even taking the Jayce off the table was a mistake from them, because now JDG, who knows what they have when they dig deep. Apparently it's illusion, so there's that. But them adapting their strategy, changing that, and I'm just generally not a fan of blind Gnar, so they had a very good answer to it coming in.
Yeah, I mean, the only blind champion that's really acceptable is Lee Sin, right? Like, anyone else that's blind, that's just distasteful. Crisp stepping forwards. The Gravitum goes in. It's not quite enough, but man, the long-range damage that you can do with Aphelios when Calibrum's in play is kind of insane. We're going to see a dive at this bottom side as JDG setting this wave up. Crisp knows he's in all kinds of trouble. No stopwatch available. It's almost up, but will not be there yet. And actually, really nicely played by Crisp. Finds an opportunity onto Missing, and now it's being turned around with FoFo here. Missing forced to flash. JDG denied. Rocky gets so close. Oh, the flash from WeiWei. That was beautiful. And now chasing on for more. Hope's in trouble in this bottom side. The slow surely going to come through in a second. The knockup will be there from WeiWei. And Hope will go down. FoFo gets one. BLG back on the ball.
This was a very necessary turn on the dive that BLG needed. And FoFo actually giving waves mid to make sure that happens. That big turnaround. They're going to get the dragon here, but look at what Yagao is picking up mid. So this is a situation where FoFo probably needs to head. Oh, I don't know what Kanavi.
Okay, another shockwave back from FoFo here. Kanavi, has he bitten off more than he can chew? Rocket not available for Doggo as Yagao behind enemy lines. Mana is not there for FoFo right now, and Yagao could stop him escaping. That'll be a kill for Yagao. Anything more though is the question. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. I'm questioning a bit what Kanavi was doing there, but apparently he was buying a bit of time for FoFo to pass down to the bot lane and see if they can get something a bit back for JDG overstaying to pick up that dragon. And does end up panning out for them.
Okay, Crisp was MVP in game number 1, and now rotating to that top side once again to try and get pressure onto 369, but 369 goes for a reset. Has that TP available for himself. Hope getting plates in the bottom side. Kanavi actually going to go for a Herald in the mid lane as well. That's huge for the side of JDG. Once we get to that 14-minute mark, that tower will be just a stiff breeze away from going down. Doggo Flame Choppers underneath his feet here. It's going to stop Missing in his tracks, but it won't save you. Missing won't go down because the heal comes out from Hope at the last second. And with red and white weapons, you know this tower's going to fall.
And it just looks like JDG are willing to capitalize on advantages in all 3 of their lanes, right? They have pressure pretty much everywhere at this point. As we're going to get another replay of basically the bot where FoFo TP's down bot. Looks like.
Yeah, so this is the original play where Chris got hammered, but then pulls Missing before the wave is in. I actually really like this from Chris. Really heads up play.
And then baiting the TP from FoFo, able to get the extra shields. Missing us to flash over the wall. Nice rockets, and then WeiWei flashes forward to secure.
Gorgeous flash from WeiWei, right? Like, just it's not often that you see a flash that's kind of almost on the spot that's actually good, but managing to use it to get the pinpoint accuracy with the W. Breathe in trouble here. Almost mega, but not almost enough. And WeiWei now the target as Culling comes on through. Kanavi turning into that mini Gnar to try and chase them down. And with the reset on his ult, he grabs one for himself. And that's going to be 6-3. JDG firing on all cylinders. Now 4K up in this game as Yagao trying to force FoFo out in the mid lane. Has used his Chaos Storm. I'm not entirely sure how that all came to pass in the mid lane. But either way, 369 continues to blow this ridiculous lead up from the top side.
Yeah, what I'm enjoying from JDG is just wherever the enemy jungler is, they seem to know, and then they just play the other two lanes at the same time, make sure they're getting advantages in both. So they've just been chipping away at these towers, which is why they've been able to take down 2 T1s and almost a third already. Getting a lot of gold on all 3 of their members, not just the solo lanes, right? We saw this Lucian play, and for the early parts of this game, it felt like a Lucian-only game. But the other lanes just winning out on their own.
So far, so good. JDG, it's so good to see them coming back in game 2. Because after game 1, it really did feel like BLG had just downloaded them and figured out exactly how to play against this team. And that was very concerning for me because I've been a little bit hot on JDG recently. They've been on having some nice wins for themselves, but also playing aggressively, playing proactively. It's the kind of game that I like to watch. So I like to see teams playing that style succeeding. And BLG shutting it down so effectively game number 1 gave me a little bit of concern for the team, but showing that that wasn't everything from them. Breathe just gets stunned, turns into Mega Gnar, gets 2 of them with it, but answers with his life. The rest of BLG are here though. Kanavi can't get the resets. Missing, turns golden, in with 369. He's got so much gold, so much damage to work with. Can they turn the fight around though? Because FoFo about to arrive, WeiWei will fall, and JDG have already got it.
And I think what is also relevant to note is just how strong JDG were already. BLG trying to make something happen, almost managed to execute something, right? Kanavi did go down, but JDG continuing to snowball their lead, had the numbers in place and managed to take it away.
Good stuff coming out from JDG, managing to hold their cool. And this felt a little like when Breathe went in there.
From Leona, right?
Like, it felt like, okay, maybe this is doable for BLG, but really nice fight in the end.
Yeah, and I think that the stopwatch coming out from missing, buying time, the fact that Breathe was sort of face checking a little bit there, they got kind of interested in doing it because missing dropped the ult, right? So they managed to take that fight away.
FoFo's in all kinds of trouble on the bottom side of the map. This kid's absolutely railed. Didn't have Shockwave available either. That's all 3 tier 1s now taken in favor of JDG. And if it's one thing that this team has been real good at across the course of this year, it is closing games out when they've got a lead. And boy, do they have a lead. 6,000 up in their favor at 17 minutes into the game. And now slamming a Herald in this bottom lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, just they're ahead on the map. They're grabbing T2. There's not really a whole lot that BLG can do from this position to stall out their push. So they're just going to take a top T1 for their troubles. At least get a little bit of something back, but this gold lead from JDG is starting to feel really, really insurmountable at this point. Not exactly sure what the straightforward thing is for BLG to do. I think if they can get JDG to funnel into a choke, have Mega Gnar get a perfect like 5-man Gnar ult, and then follow it up with Orianna Shockwave and a Jinx rocket, maybe they'll get them low enough to clean up the fight, right? That's kind of the plan. It's just a big Wombo combo team fight with JDG mispositioning, but considering how spread out on the map JDG have been playing, it feels like they're just going to continue playing multiple lanes and not allow for BLG to have that opportunity.
Yeah, it feels like if that fight happens, if that situation occurs, it will be like Doggo cleaning up kills, getting excited, getting the resets, charging forwards. And you know, that's a story that we've told many times across the course of the split in BLG's wins. But BLG, when they're behind, they have managed to have some comeback wins, but it's not usually that they're this far behind, right? It's usually that they play it super safe in the early game, they get 2,000 or 3,000 gold down, and then around the Baron and around the Drakes, they're able to pull off miracle team fights, but not usually 7,000 gold down. That might be a little bit too much, but Crisp doesn't think so. Goes for the engage. FoFo just forced out by the culling from 369, though. And in the meantime, Hope wailing onto Breathe. I mean, this is not getting any easier for BLG.
Yeah. They're basically, and then the fact that BLG responds, they're just gonna keep rotating along. I like this TP flank here, though. Maybe they have something
Double
breathe, almost
TP.
as
Gnar is there, stuns against the wall. This is huge from BLG. A big pick onto Yagao. Maybe an opportunity as well. Baron up on the map in 30 seconds. I think that's a little overzealous, but maybe a further fight as FoFo, three-man
nice.
shockwave. WeiWei trying to make his way in, but the rest of the team wasn't on board. Doggo doesn't have the damage just yet, and now the resets from Kanavi, but Doggo survives and gets one, gets excited, looking for Hope now, who has to flash over the wall. 369 stepping too far forward, dodges the zap though, keeps himself safe.
And we highlighted the Wombo combo that has to happen there. Beautiful shockwave from FoFo. Nice double TP. I was all prepared to say they had to invest 2 TPs for just one play, but really, really good follow-up, making sure that play continued and taking away even more kills.
Yeah, really good stuff coming out from BLG. They're not going down without a fight. Finding an opportunity there. WeiWei just getting on out of dodge. Was trying to chase down the kill onto 369. And this is one of the issues that you do have when you run one of these ranged top laners, right? Not as tanky in the team fights, not as good in the 5v5.
And also worth noting, like, look at how much crisp zones off of that. So once JDG make the initial mistake and walk into that choke point, you have the instant trigger pull from the solo laners on the TPs, but crisp walks forward so they can't rejoin their teammate and make that routing overall possible and that fight executed well.
Yeah, but I will say, that combo that we were just talking about, the kind of classic Wombo combo, which, first off, I'm so glad that we're seeing a classic Wombo combo with, like, the Orianna. It's, like, so vintage League of Legends here. But with that working out like that, it does mean that BLG have bought themselves a bit more time, and that combo only gets better with time. And now potentially a pick on the bottom side as 369 has to flash and Gale Force just to keep himself safe. And I don't know, JDG, they're kind of playing this a little too fast and loose.
Yeah, I think just the fact that they're not necessarily waiting for Yagao to get the window, because Yagao's pushing in the top wave now, right? So he's showing there, but BLG have a window from bot, so they're able to just capitalize instantly, loving the trigger pull coming out from them and say, you know what, you're 4v5, we can take this.
And Yagao, though, up in the top side, trying to get some pressure onto this tower. Drake coming up in 35 seconds, and realistically, it's BLG the ones that are significantly threatening it. Doggo just trying to get priority here, as Yagao is just being completely ignored on the top side tower, and 369 and Kanavi are two-manning Baron right now. And BLG don't have a clue, but in the meantime, they're making a play in the mid lane. Find a pick onto Hope, but at what cost? They're going to be able to get themselves the mid-tier one. Yagao still pushing. The Baron still being taken here. Culling coming on through here. 3k on the Baron, as BLG need to make some decisions here. No rocket available for Doggo, and that will be the Baron taken in trade of a Drake and a tier 1. I'm hard... I don't know, BLG, they get some bounties. I don't think it's worth it, though.
Yeah, I honestly have to feel like they just don't even know, like, that Baron was happening that entire time. Which is very interesting, because they don't see the jungle at all, right? They didn't see anyone on mid, but really like the decision-making coming from JDG. They know that BLG hasn't been there before. BLG basically ignored the top wave, and we talked about at the top of the series, the fact that JDG are pushing in those waves with very, very good, precise timing, so they get control on top side. They decide, you know what, we're not going to go for the dragon. We're just going to hard trade. And when BLG all show mid, they know there's no vision top side for BLG. They start the Baron, they get the Baron. Very smart map play coming out for JDG so far.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Stuff here. JDG still maintaining control, and incredibly smart, incredibly heads-up play, because it felt like they were starting to lose control of this game, right? It felt like BLG was starting to scrabble something back in their favor, but with this Baron play, and with the extra tier 2 in the top side as well, the dreams for BLG feel further away than ever. It's a 7,500 or 7,000 gold lead in favor of JDG. They have the kill advantage. They have 3 towers more than what BLG have for themselves. And with that Baron in pocket, it's a matter of just trying to crack this base open. It's a little bit difficult with an Aphelios to get a siege going. They would have loved to have the Jinx on their side for this one, but 369 can put plenty of pressure in other lanes.
Right, and with the composition that they can just have the Baroned up cannon hit the tower. Not quite taking the waves as well as BLG did in the previous game, so BLG just rotating and picking those up.
actually, looks like JDG sort of backing away a little bit here. And only a minute left on this Baron. They might not get much more with it, as I'm not sure JDG can stick around in this bottom lane with BLG moving over. And as you say, waves really not synced up here from JDG. They're not pushing in the two lanes simultaneously, and it means that BLG can clear these waves up. They will protect their inhibitors. 40 seconds on that Baron, and JDG look a little undecided, but missing. Perhaps wants to just force a fight. Breathe about to turn Mega. I'm not sure you want to fight BLG in the jungle right now.
Yeah, even though they are about 6k gold down, you have Jinx about to complete her third item. Only 2 dragons taken for both teams. So this game is feeling far from over because the inhib turrets are up. There's still definitely a window where BLG win this, especially if JDG are not coordinating their Baron waves very well.
Comes in, but that was just great engage there from WeiWei. Great follow-up from Crisp as well. Max range on the hook, I'm pretty sure. But obviously, that was all in trade of a Baron. They did get themselves that second Drake, but, you know, Baron went down in favor of JDG. I will say, though, even though JDG are massively ahead in this one, and I definitely think JDG is still a favorite to win this game, ultimately, BLG feel like the ones that are doing a bit of a better job on the shot calling right now in terms of how they're playing this game. I feel like BLG are in a really good spot in terms of, you know, the game didn't start well for them, but they still feel coordinated. They still feel like they've got a game plan. They feel like they're all on the same page. That's exciting to see.
Yeah, and they shifted from playing the bruiser style side laning to this front to back comp, but the adaptation is that they're relying a lot more on Crisp and WeiWei to get these types of engages, to have good follow-up from their carries who are standing in the back line.
Missing might have to flash. No, dodges the hook. Good little sidestep from Missing, and a crucial one, because a pick there could be disastrous with Drake up in a minute. Control of the map needs to remain in favor of JDG if they want to try and threaten Soul Point. Remember, the next team to get a Drake will be on Soul Point, and suddenly the tensions increase 5 minutes from there. But so far, it's just going to be even Stevens on those Drakes. 1 minute until this one comes up. So Kelsey, talk me through the two teams here. How do each of them make things happen to secure this next Drake?
Well, so once again, BLG has not really addressed the top wave in time where JDG just kind of pushed that out, ready to rotate as a full 5-man squad into this dragon, which means that BLG don't really have much of a chance to answer this. And neither team really want to give up the soul point. So in this case, normally you'd say JDG can TP top, just trade away from it. But I think in this particular case, the fact that JDG just have good Drake setup, the fact that BLG are not answering the wave and they're gonna pull some mid here. Oh,
Crisp just flashes in. We're gonna see a team fight, but Crisp is already gone. He's already out. He doesn't have the damage to follow up. Kanavi having to all out of the play. Then WeiWei following up on this one. Rocket comes in onto Kanavi. Has to turn golden. Doggo doing pretty well in this fight as Breathe is forced out on the top side. 369 flashing for the kill, but he won't quite get it. Breathe escaping. WeiWei hit by the Moonlight Vigil. Hope trying to chase it on up with the Gravitum. But over the wall goes WeiWei down as the resets come through for Kanavi. Can't follow up onto FoFo though. Shockwave still available. You got to keep your eyes on FoFo's Orianna right here. Doggo trying to keep his mid laner safe. Trying to get damage onto Kanavi. Flame Chompers down though. And Doggo's in all kinds of trouble. Yagao over the wall. Flashes forward to finish off the AD carry. Missing. Chased away by FoFo. But there's a kill for 369. Now FoFo, he's the one that's got to leg it. He's the one that's got to get out of there. Staying in the brush. This is greedy from FoFo, but confident nonetheless. Chunks out Kanavi. Now a TP coming in as well from, I'm not sure even who. It's Yagao that re-enters the fray, but Crisp is here. And Breathe is going to look for a kill onto Kanavi. He's about to turn Mega, gets to slam into the wall, gets a kill onto the enemy jungler, sacrifices his life, but maybe gives WeiWei a smite advantage onto a Drake, onto a Baron.
I don't know if they can pick up this Baron just here. They might just go for the dragon because there are members of BLG respawning. But yeah, I kind of want to see the start of that fight again because I want to see the vision or the overall kind of understanding of the map that BLG had a little bit more closely because Crisp's engage seemed a little bit risky considering JDG were either all in that line brush. Yep, there they are. Okay, so he has to have some idea that, okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's very possible that he just had no vision of that, right? And didn't have the expectation that they were in that position, which is surprising. Since the last time you reasonably saw a JDG member was when they were pushing out the top wave, which hasn't been addressed, which means that they have no reason to have answered this. And, oh,
Yeah, a bit of a weird one. A weird one. And then
Yep.
this was so chaotic for the rest of the fight, right? JDG
Yeah.
desperately trying to chase down. And fair play to the BLG members. A few mechanical outplays across the course of it, but not enough. JDG wrestle control back once again. 8,000 is the gold lead as they start this Baron off. BLG wanting to contest. Chris trying to get in, but it's already gone. It's already Baron in favor of JDG, and now fight as well as Moonlight Vigil goes in, and everybody just charges on to breathe. BLG couldn't get there in time. They go for a half contest, and now they've left themselves at a numbers disadvantage against the Baron, and JDG surely could just push into the base.
yeah, definitely should be able to at least get a couple inhibitors for this, right? Once again, I'm not quite sure what BLG's options were in that position, considering they knew they were on Baron. They had to contest. They had to look for something, because otherwise they're just giving another Baron away for free, and JDG slowly are going to choke them out.
FoFo has the shockwave. Hope had a stopwatch though. Nicely played by the AD carry. Flashes out to safety, and WeiWei might be sacrificed by his team on this one. Hope low on HP, but doesn't go down. FoFo will get knocked up. Has the Zhonya's of his own. His Doggo is still going strong in this fight, but Kanavi has a GA. Like, nobody from JDG's even gone down yet, as they dominate the team fight. They dominate this game. It's 20-8 as Kanavi is diving the Nexus towers in this one. Doggo falls to a Gale Force. In goes Breathe, but it's too little and it's too late. Hope is dead, but Hope is alive for JDG in the series. It'll go to 1-1 as we push it to 3 games.
We asked, how does JDG respond? Can BLG close out and execute on more styles just as definitively? And here we go. We have JDG coming back, showing a lot of the signs that we praised them for at the start of the series.